So again, welcome, dear people, dear great people of Africa, dear doctoral students from Nigeria, Burundi, Ghana, DRC, and our facilitators, vice chancellors, or professors, the best in the world, for this second presentation. And we're having no other than the former vice chancellor of the University of Education of Ghana, Winneba, who made a presentation earlier and who is here to speak on recent developments in STEM education in Ghana. My pleasure to invite you, sir, Professor Jophus Anamuah-Mensah, to address the class. Over to you, Jophus.
So, yes, so thank
Yeah, hello.
Honorable Minister for Education, Nana, made very strong, points which you said you will take note of. I think science or STEM should be part of life. They shouldn't be divorced from life. And I think that's very important. You're giving us a global view of science development and so on. My topic is on recent developments in STEM education in Ghana. But in starting this, I want to give you a picture of our dream Ghanaian child. A Ghanaian child who should be creative, innovative, critical thinker, global leader, a team leader, and so on. This is what we're looking for. But I want to start by a quotation from our former UN leader, Kofi Annan, who said that he was concerned about education in Africa, and said, despite significant progress in recent years, millions of African children have never set foot in a classroom. There are so many people who are outside the classroom. When people are able to access education, they can break free of the cycle of poverty and contribute to building a fairer and more peaceful society. And this is the same thing, being promoted by Sen, who says that development is freedom. When there's development, there's freedom. When there's no development, there's no freedom. So, the introduction is that the current development in STEM education cannot be divorced from the wide-ranging. So we're saying that this is the quotation from Kofi Annan, who said that when people are able to access education, they can break free of the cycle of poverty and contribute to building a fairer and more peaceful society for Africa. I was saying that to talk about the development of STEM education in Ghana, we cannot divorce it from the other reforms that are going on, that impinge upon science education or STEM education in the country. We had some semblance of reforms, many reforms that were taking place all the time. But here we have a situation where we started with the colleges of education where people are trained, so that the teachers who come out will be teachers who will, start the revolution in terms of the pedagogy that they use in teaching and so on and so forth. So the present development in Ghana's education, including STEM education, has risen from a series of concerns that has confronted the country over a long period of time, in which different governments have found it very hard to deal with. There's a quotation from the Ministry of Education which says that the government of Ghana has initiated on embracing education reforms to transform teaching and learning and improve educational outcomes. The ministry intends to deliver comprehensive reform agenda. through a coordinated education reform delivery framework. Which goal is to transform the education sector, and meet the human needs of the country. So in my presentation, I will look at first the learning crisis, from studies, baseline studies that were done, and then look at the comprehensive reform policies in the country, and then look at initial teacher education reforms, and that is at the colleges and so on. And then we'll look at the education at the pre-tertiary level. What is happening there now? So in looking at learning crisis in teacher education, we've seen that we saw a lack of preparation of the teacher to teach the school curriculum that is supposed to go and teach. So there was no connection between the curriculum followed by the teacher in the training college and then the curriculum that is being taught in the basic school. And there's very limited mentor support system that was taking place. And there was also a dominance of the teacher-centered pedagogy. Everyone wants to just write the things on the board for students to write and then tell them what they should know and so on. Assessment was also not comprehensive enough. It was examination-driven. And there was lack of focus on language and literacy, which is so critical to every subject area. Adequate attention to issues of equity and inclusion, and disciplinary knowledge, was seen as independent of pedagogical knowledge. So the two, were not put together. No opportunity for students to examine their own biases. Student that goes to the university to teach, to learn to teach. This comes with all kinds of, views and values and so on. It needs to be, supported to gradually, move the unwanted values and from behavior as it goes along with the process. And then programs that was not, combined or related to the socio-economic and political context of the country. Yeah, so the learning crisis, then we're looking at learning crisis at the pre-tertiary level. That one was at the teacher education level. Excuse me. You can see the performances were not very good. In the early grade reading assessment, early grade mathematics assessment, and so on. The underperformance in literacy and so on. Learners limited subject knowledge, and then we took part in teams, and our performance in teams, over the 3 times that we, was not what to, something to write home about. And every year, it has already pointed that 40% of learners fail to achieve this, but that has improved now to some extent. Yeah, poor leadership, accountability, and management in the system. There was also the lack of clear shared standards for mathematics and science at all levels. And many people find mathematics boring, difficult, abstract, and, have a block mind, so they cannot even, pursue programs in STEM. Again, we have, the fact that, it lacked, understanding. There's lack of understanding and application of the concepts that they learn, number sense in mathematics and mental strategies for doing the basics of operations missing, mathematics, analytical reasoning and communication missing. Teachers rely on chalk and talk and pedagogy, teacher-centered pedagogy, and not on active pedagogies. A little attempt was made to integrate them in developing scientific, and mathematical concepts. There were too many subtopics. We were blown up subtopics. Now, counting, we had about almost 60-something topics, that they had to go through. But as we come to the next thing, we'll tell you what been done. So transforming the learning crisis to a learning nation. How do we do that? This will require the enactment of policies to guide, and direct affairs. If there are no policies, then things are done in a haphazard manner, and things will not move on in the way that is expected. So the overall policy, for education is the Education Strategic Plan 2018-2030. And its goal is to deliver quality education service at all levels that will equip learners in educational institutions with the skills, competencies, and awareness that will make them functional citizens who can contribute to the attainment of the national goal. It places emphasis on STEM. STEM was critical to it. And then equity and inclusion, that nobody is left out. Everybody can succeed in education. So in rural areas, from whatever, we need to do something for them. Focuses on improved learning outcomes and prioritizes policies and activities in the sector, given the constraints of capacity and funding. Efficiency of the education system would focus on strong accountability mechanisms, so that we can ensure that things are being done. Then there was the policies that came out through the Transforming Teacher Education and Learning, which the Honorable Minister mentioned. She started the process. And through that, we developed the National Teacher Standard, which sets out what is meant by a good teacher in Ghana. Who is a good teacher? The National Teacher Standard, defines who is a good teacher. Then we developed the National Teacher Education Curriculum Framework, which sets out, the elements that are important in teacher education system. If you want to produce the teacher, any institution that is going to produce a teacher should follow the National Teacher Education Curriculum Framework. And then all initial teacher education institutions, are to offer 4-year Bachelor of Education degrees to basic school teachers. Nobody is going to go diploma and so on. Then the 4-year Bachelor's Education program was developed, and this was developed by, a team of about 100 and something people, from different 4 universities, who contributed to those. And there was a convention of colleges of education as University Colleges of Education. And then there was the democratization of initial teacher education, where some colleges were attached to newly some other universities which were not initially teacher education institutions, like the KNUST, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, taking some of the colleges and giving emphasis on science and technology, and so on. Then we have the school partnership policy. If you're going to train teachers, you need a partnership policy that allows the district directorate, the municipal directorate, metro directorate to really, support the students when they come to the schools. So the schools belong to them. So when they come to the schools, we expect that they will support them. And there are about 2,000 plus schools, which are partner schools, attached to the colleges of education. And they are the ones who oversee them. Then there's the National Teacher Education Assessment Policy. Now that we have a new teacher education system, the emphasis was to train people who have the skills, and the competencies to teach, as well as the knowledge to teach. So the assessment system now includes, authentic assessment as well as portfolio assessment. So then we have a weekly mandatory professional development sessions in the colleges of education. And this is carried out by the tutors themselves in the colleges. Every week they meet and discuss some critical issues relating to what they're going to teach the following week. And then they give ideas and so on. And by so doing, professionally developing themselves and helping one another in order to be able to succeed. And then training also for the college council members, the principals, the student unions, the teacher unions, and so on, to support the system. Because if you don't bring all of them in, you will be looking at only a small section and you will not be able to succeed. Then we have also with the T-TEL support, we have operationalizing of the pre-tertiary teacher professional and management development framework, which talks about teacher induction, registration, and licensing of teachers, and provides a framework for teacher career progression. And then we have the technical vocational education and training reforms. It realigns all the technical and vocational institutions under Ministry of Education and creates a technical and vocational education service, that oversees the technical and vocational education. And then there's the process in trying to re-equipping all TVET institutions. Then we go to the pre-tertiary curriculum. That was developed by NaCCA, stand for National Council for Curriculum and Assessment. And when the minister was in charge, I was the chairman of NaCCA.
Wonderful.
It leads to the design and implementation of a new pre-tertiary education curriculum with standards and assessment framework. It reduces the amount of subjects and content to prioritize time on it. So the subjects was changed in the number of subjects that we have now the topics are now 14, 14 subtopics that the teachers are supposed to teach. I will show you some of the slides that will come. The shift away from a focus on teacher talk time to, critical thinking, group work, phonics, and experiential learning. And then introduces national comparable, assessment of projects. The P2, P4, P6, B8, and B10. We've changed the minister has changed the terminologies that we used previously. So I'll show it to you. And it's designed to inculcate an understanding and appreciation of the Ghanaian culture and values. There's the free senior secondary school also as a policy that came in to address the issue of many of the GHS students not getting access to the senior high school, and then they have to use the double track system, which later on now I can see that new buildings are being put up in order to ease the system a bit. There's also the issue of public-private partnership initiative for school management, where the Ministry of Education and DES partner non-state actors to help oversee and manage and deliver at the senior high school level. There's a legal institutional regulatory framework at the tertiary level reform, where the National Council for Tertiary Education and National Accreditation Board are now going to be combined so that they work together instead of being having two separate councils.
Sure.
And then we have establishment of the Open University, which 10 and 50 years ago we wanted to do, but has not happened. So hopefully it will happen this time. And the strengthening of technical universities to be the apex of TVET system in the country. It's also creating a technical teacher training university, from it's called the University of Skills and Entrepreneurship, which will train technical teachers. We have only a campus of UW that does that, and then a few other colleges of education. But these are going to be combined, to really have a place where you can train technical teachers, not technicians, but technical teachers, people who teach technology and TVET in the school system. Then we have a University of Media and Arts and Communication that has also been created. University for Technology and Applied Science also created. And then and these are created from existing, universities. And there's a proposal for a centralized application processing services, serve as a common admission platform for all students.
Great.
Other reforms include basic education decentralization reform, which has also taken a long time. I hope it can be done. So that's the process is on. The introduction of a new school supervision and inspection system through what we call the National Inspectorate Board, with the support of Ofsted and education development. We've already started, and this is hopefully will be taken over completely by the country. ICT in education reforms is also another one. GES, institutional reform, to streamline GES, to bring efficiency into what they do. GES is the biggest, institution within the ministry that oversees all the pre-tertiary institutions, and the efficiency is something that they want to work on now. So, of the education system, gives you an idea where we have the old system, age of child at entry to class, so at age 4 you go to KG1 and so on, that's kindergarten. But then the new classification, also KG1, KG2 remains, but we call it the key phase 1. Key phase 1. And then we have the primary 1 to 6 becomes B1 to 6, where we have B1 to 3 being the key phase 2, and then B4 to 6 being key phase 3. And then we have the junior high school, it's B7 to B9, and it's called key phase 4. And then senior high school is now classified as B10 to 12, so key phase 5. And there are national assessments that are supposed to be developed, and we have this national educational assessment, which we're using, to track how students are performing. Now we're going to have standardized assessment at the D2 level, and then we have a national standardized assessment also at B4, and then national standard assessment at B6, and so on and so forth. I'm going to go through all. So implementation of the reform, policies. The delivery of these reform policies through a coordinated approach is expected to create linkages and codependencies. If we bring all the actors together, it means that they should all work together.
Sure.
You need to form a platform for them to work together. Otherwise, people will be doing things on their own, and this would not help in really bringing about the needed, changes that are anticipated.
8 minutes more. 8 minutes. 8 minutes. 8 minutes.
8 minutes. Okay.
Yes, 8.
Yes. So let me go on. So new BEd and so on are there. There's curriculum informed by the National Teachers Standard. But the National Teachers Standard is the basis for assessment. We need to assess teachers based upon that. Professionalizing the teacher education again, collaborative curriculum development among 4 universities, emphasis on interactive pedagogy and use of multiple pedagogies according to the universal design for learning, and so on. Then this is the progress that we want to see. In the 4 years, we have the progress across the 4 years, where we have a beginning teaching, we have developing teaching in second year, we have embedding teaching and extending teaching. The beginning teaching is a general thing that brings, all people from wherever they come from, whichever institution they were, into the same level before they move on to their specialization. These are can be read through. Yes, the quick is that an externally commissioned survey, because we're worried about the tutors. In 2015, only 15% of the science, maths, English tutors, were able to use or demonstrate student-focused teaching. And in 2019 it was 78. Again, we had the same 2% using gender-sensitive approaches, and then 80% this time. This is for beginning teachers who did a diploma and were going out, who also were prepared to be able to go out, and this is the result. So the pre-tertiary, system integrates the 4 R's, as reading, writing, arithmetic, and creativity into STEM, in basic school. STEM, has to incorporate or integrate reading, writing, arithmetic. So, in a sense, and creativity, in a sense, becomes the STEAM, approach. Some teachers have to produce portfolios and so on. I'll not go through this, but the nature of the syllabus or curriculum, we have the strands. The strands are the broad areas like a diversity of matter, and then the sub-strands are the topics within it. And then the content standard refers to the predetermined level of knowledge, skill, or attitude that a learner attains by a set stage of education. Then we have indicators, the clear, outcomes of the milestones that learners will have. And then we have exemplars. What should they do? What type of activities should they do? And so on. So you have it in a form like this, where you have the content, on top is the diversity of matter as a strand 1, and then we have sub-strand, living and non-living things, and then another sub-strand 2, materials, and then you have the content standard for sub-strand 1. Then we have the new curriculum, all the things, I think, summarizing everything. Uses the social constructivist approach, collaborative learning, inquiry approach, project and program-based learning. And then there's also put more emphasis on material science. The 4 R's, play a critical role here. Then we have material science is there. And then, so material science is being introduced as a strand. It's one of the new things coming in. And then the spiral curriculum is, the round thing that shows that, it goes round, and every year you revisit the topic and then enhance, its depth of knowledge. There's the integration of the 5 modes, and then the 3 levels, which is early grade level, and then we have the upper primary and then junior high school. Then we have again ICT integration. We have national and global issues that we deal with.
5 minutes.
Okay. Using ICT as a tool to facilitate and so on and so forth. Yes, so I just go on to, then the new mathematics, we have money under measurement is now, a sub-strand under under number. And then fractions move from P2 to begin at P1. Content of geometry and data extended, and so on and so on. So I'm not going into this, but this is on how do you sustain the system. What have you done to sustain the system? And so it gives you an idea of some of the areas that have been strengthened to sustain the system. And I end by quoting Kofi Annan again. We have the means and the capacity to deal with our problems. If only we can find the political will. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Professor Jophus Anamuah, for this very rich presentation. Please just give me a minute. For the very rich presentation, and we have thoroughly enjoyed it. I've been soaked into a depth of understanding, a rich depth of understanding of how the system in Ghana works. And I am going to now ask the participants, the students and facilitators who are here, if they have questions or comments to now share with us. So if you want to take the floor, I will take you on. Okay, Oladejo, I've seen you. Oladejo, you raised your hand the other time. I'm not too sure I gave you the opportunity. I'm so sorry, please. Okay, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Who else is coming on? Who else is making?
Dansu, sir.
Dansu, yes. Yes, just announce your name if you want to take. Adironke Binsi, what happened to your beret today?
Fred.
What happened to your beret? Fred, of course. Fred, you have to talk.
It's on lockdown, sir.
It's on lockdown. Your beret is on lockdown. That's very nice.
Yeah.
Yes. Who else is taking the floor? All right. So let's have Fred. Fred, take the floor.
Yes. I want to contribute on the issue of Professor Anamuah's presentation. Very splendid, reflecting what the Ghanaian situation is. But I think that, particularly on the issue of the double track, that is the introduction of the free senior high school program. There is new infrastructure being built, but I think it hinges also on Professor Okobukole's previous presentation. Reality is that there are classrooms that are already built, the e-blocks, by the previous government. Now, a new government comes in, introduces a new policy, but they are not willing to use the classrooms, the existing classrooms that were built by the previous government. So there is a struggle in infrastructure as we speak now. So they are compelled now to run shift system, which is not very effective. So I think that the political will and continuity should be one key issue that we should look at when we're talking about STEM education in Africa, because there's classroom deficit as we speak. Meanwhile, previous government has built classrooms which are idle in the bushes and then are not being used. It's just an opinion on the presentation.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Dansu, you have the floor. Dansu? Okay, Oladejo, take the floor if Dansu is not ready yet. Oladejo.
Thank you very much, sir.
Oladejo,
yes, sir.
yes. Okay.
I want to, yes, sir, I'm with you, sir.
Who is? Is it Dansu or Oladejo?
I think it's Dansu.
I'm ready, sir.
Okay, Dansu, yeah, go ahead. He's not ready. Oladejo, take the floor. I mean, that has to be rapid.
All right, sir.
Yes, okay.
I'm ready, sir.
I'll take
Dansu is ready, sir.
No. Oladejo has the floor. Oladejo, not Dansu. Yes.
Thank you very much, sir.
Oladejo has the floor.
To...
Oladejo has the floor. We want rapid. You have to respond rapidly, not to take 1 year. But when I call you to answer, Oladejo, take the floor.
Thank you very much, sir. I take it quickly on 3 points. I don't know how it's working well for Ghana, but around here in Nigeria, there was a time where we had 34 new trade subjects included in our secondary school at senior level. Something I hope to be called backward integration. I don't know how you are managing it. There's going to be a new policy, new things to do before the teachers are trained on how to get it. As I speak with you, of these 34 trade subjects at the senior secondary school level, only about 2 or 3 are viable around schools. Many schools don't go into it because they don't have the facilities and infrastructure to take care of this problem. That's number one. Number two is who has to change. Most of our teachers, I can say about 75% of them, when they leave the colleges or the university, they get employed by the private school. These private schools don't give them the opportunities to make the change that have been taught in the classroom. They tell them to do what they want in their own school. In fact, there's a booklet called you can't change anything there as a teacher. You just have to follow suit. How do we tackle the problem? The third one is beyond exam success. I remember in the minister's petition, she said that the Ghanaians were having higher scores in exams. Now, from what you have said to us, do we have any assessment procedure in Ghana that talks about, okay, a GS3 student, after GS3 exam, having be able to make something like this as part of the assessment, rather than only pass in maths and English? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Danso, if you are ready, you can...
I am ready, sir.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm ready.
Yes.
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes,
okay, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
I want to quickly appreciate Professor Jophus for the wonderful lecture. Thank you very much, sir. So my question is still...
One minute, Danso. 1 minute, Danso. Danso, please hold on.
Yes, sir.
From today, don't use a phone. I've always warned you. Use a computer so it's steady. Look at Oladejo, look at Fred. Steady. You are moving around there. So please, from next class, which is tomorrow, make sure you use a laptop. You have the floor. Keep going.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, my question is on the issue of engagement of STEM teachers in secondary schools. Here in Nigeria, I've noticed for some years that teachers are being engaged or employed through political slots. And then by the time you check the qualifications and then the pedagogical capabilities of the employed new teachers, they are unable to deliver what we are discussing here at the classroom level. And with what we have been taught and what we are learning here, sir, on this platform or at this level, what can we do to salvage a situation of such? Thank you, sir.
Wonderful. So that's very good. So we have room for 2 more questions, if there are. I'm scrolling down. We can see Professor Kola Rahim. It's going to be, when are you, Professor Rahim, when are you making your presentation to us? Sir, we can't hear you. You can mute your microphone. Professor Rahim is from University of Education, Winneba in Ghana.
Prof, I said you have not given me
No, you have. It's already there. You check the program. We sent the program out almost like 6 weeks ago. So you may wish to check that. Yes, we did. You may wish to check that. Or talk to the Deputy Center Director, Professor Wolabi. Yes, sir. So thank you. I'm still scrolling. Any other person wanting to take the floor? We are going to be hearing from Sierra Leone, sometime, I think next week or so. So we have heard from Ghana, and it's very rich. I feel so impressed with what is going in Ghana. It's so comprehensive. It's so far-reaching to deliver quality STEM education at all levels. It looks as if they have covered all the angles from basic education, going up to teacher education at the different levels. So I'm quite impressed with that. The only thing that I have to reflect with Jophus on is what Oladejo mentioned, and it applies not only to education but to all sectors of the economy of every African country. So today, you get somebody who is, I think your election is next year also. You now have election or this year, I don't know when. Fred, is this year? All right, fine. So there's an election this year. Perchance, there's another party that comes in, a new minister of education. Let me tell you the warped mentality of a typical African leader. They want to say, okay, yeah, I must know her. I want to be known for this thing. There are some things that are there that it should layer upon its own initiatives. But what the typical African will do, and that's not possible most don't know because it's not the typical African, is to knock off all the things that the former person has done and start his own policies. That's what Fred is saying. Start his own policy. You don't want to commission buildings that somebody else has started. You want to start your own building. You want to say, I want to be known for something. So all these grandiose policies that African governments come up with, less than 20% of them are sustainable. Although Professor Jophus said, oh, sustainability. I'm telling you, Jophus, less than 20%, from all our studies, less than 20% of them are sustainable from one government to another. Another government comes, they just just knock it off, and because they want to be known for their own. So I just want us to reflect on it. I'm sure it may not be true for Ghana, and that would be one exception out of 54 African countries. Because I belong to a group, Global University Network for Innovation in Africa, and we study all the policies. Brilliant policies. 4 years down the road, the policies are thrown down the drain. A new person comes. You, Jophus, you, this man. If you come in now, you clock your own. You say, this is what I want to be known for. So just, we have 10 minutes. So react to reflect on this, and Jophus, no need to react to my own. Just leave my own aside. Just talk.
No, but it's important because the honorable minister who spoke, she started the T-TEL thing. So when the new government came, they wanted to find out what is this T-TEL thing. So we have to go and and explain to them. And they said, oh, that's good. Let's continue. So they continued with the policy in developing the national teaching standard, in developing the national teacher education curriculum framework. So that was done, but they went beyond that to do other things. The issue of the buildings, yes, the buildings, some of them were not completed, but the government also didn't want, because every year, more than, roughly 1,000 kids do not get access to looking at the background of those who have done it before, having got access to a senior high school. So the thing was, now if the government is saying free education, what are we going to do? All the places are choked. The double track system is not new to Africa. It's to Ghana. It's used in the US and so on. Where the infrastructure system is not adequate, they use it. So, we've recommended that, yes, let's at least for the time being use it, But if there were structures which were ready to be occupied, and were not used, that one I haven't actually checked. I have to check on that, and that's unfortunate. The issue of the new curriculum and what has happened, whether they've seen any results. This is something that, for example, the basic one started just this year. Started the implementation just this year. So we haven't gotten any result. But the only thing that we can say about the teacher education one is that, we've seen that the pedagogical practices are changing. The teachers that have also gone out have different pedagogical practices and so on. So that one I can say that yes, But I agree with you. Governments come and there are certain areas where they will just push it away and then do their own thing because they want to be known for it. There was another question on previous okay. So, I think that was more a emphasis on the Nigerian system, where the private schools, and yes, it happens in Ghana too. People are trained, they are employed by the private school. The private school have their own. They want to pass, their students to pass exams. So when they pass exam, more people will bring their children there, So that's what they do. But the ministry in this comprehensive way is also overseeing the private system, and ensuring that the private system conforms to what the others are doing. Because you just don't want people who pass exam, but people who are able to be creative and come up with something that will all the, as the minister said, if science becomes part of us,
sure.
It's what our mothers do. Everybody does. The indigenous knowledge system we talked about, the community knowledge system we talked about, and so on. I mean, if these are brought in, the creativity and innovation of our kids will be expanded.
Very good.
So I think it's a very important thing.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so very much, Professor Jophus. Anamuah-Mensah, a great Ghanaian in the education firmament, and we appreciate your presentation this morning and the answers that you have given to our questions. Now, I invite Professor Uche na Maristella Nzewi, make a call and fully, to make the presentation on behalf. Over to you, ma'am.
On behalf of all of us,
yes,
the Lagos State University Africa Center of Excellence for Innovative and Transformative STEM Education, World Bank supported project. This is to certify that Professor Jophus Anamuah-Mensah facilitated course ACE 812 and ACE 912, May 4 to 9, 2020. Signed Professor Peter Okebukola, OFR, Director. Congratulations, sir.
Congratulations, Jophus. Would like to thank you again. And I'm going to unmute everybody so that we are going to give a round of applause to Jophus and also to VC Ibadan. We are going to give an award. You see, at the end of the series of lectures, there will be an award for Vice Chancellor Ibadan, Professor Mostonoha, Professor Nimi Briggs, Professor Arigbabu, Professor Uche Nzewi, and all these are wonderful people that keep coming. By the way, when the lockdown is over, we'll then have to adjust our calendar a little bit because people want to go to your university to work. And then, so that we will... Oh, some noise from somewhere now. No. Yeah, okay. I'm muting some people who are...
Somebody's taking over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Shalafia. So let's give a round of applause to Professor Jophus Anamuah-Mensah and to all these, our great leaders of Africa that I've just mentioned. Professor S.P.T. Bamanja, Professor Mostonoha. Keep clapping, please. As I mentioned that Professor Mostonoha, Professor Nimi Briggs, Professor Kola Rahim, Professor Uche Nzewi, Professor Michael Faborode, who had just left, Professor Duwola Yinka, and everybody for yourself, everybody. Thank you all so much. And so, we have a change in our calendar for this week. That is by tomorrow, we're going to have 2 sessions. 2 you start at 10 and finish at noon. That will be all for the week. No, there's a workshop coming up on Saturday. So thank you all for being part of this, and I wish you a very, very great